Hey everyone, Ryan here, M&R Productions, and welcome to my review of the 2022 LEGO Star Wars The Mandalorian Helmet. This is probably the most requested helmet set for LEGO Star Wars because of the popularity of the show and obviously the iconic look of Mando's helmet. So in this review, we'll find out if LEGO nailed the look or if they screwed it up, which they very well may have. Given set number 75328 for ages 18 and up, the set includes 584 pieces and retails for the pretty normal price of helmet sets at $60. If you do decide to buy one of these, make sure you use the affiliate links in the description below as it supports the channel. The box has helmet collection written on the left here. I kind of really like that text. It's really appealing for some reason. I don't know what it is, but it looks real nice. Obviously black box art because it's an 18 plus set. I think art might not be the word I'm looking for there. It's just black. And then on the back of the box, it uses a different color hue for the Mando helmet there with a baby blue, light blue kind of behind it. Just get a different view of the helmet to show off a little bit of the side contours. And then on the very bottom, they show some real images of Mando's helmet, which is where the rubber meets the road. The helmet doesn't really greatly represent that, so we'll definitely talk more about that when I have it built. Let's open it. I expect to see lots of gray, silver, and black in this box. Oh, would you look at that? There's actually quite a bit of colorful pieces in here. They'll use those to make up the interior of the helmet. The instructions and the inside flap should have a little reading about Mando's helmet. I'm gonna be honest, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. However, we have to talk about the base of the set first. A base that remains unchanged in helmet sets since they first came out in 2020, which I very much appreciate, having a consistent look for a display like that. So bravo LEGO on not changing things up needlessly, because sometimes they do. Anyway, the little plaque on the front says LEGO Star Wars and it says The Mandalorian. Yep, checks out. This is what the bottom looks like. Nothing crazy going on. And then the connection to the helmet, pretty similar. Nothing crazy going on, but some interesting colors that you can see, kind of flesh, a little bit of red in there, a little bit of black. Like, I don't know, just not something you're really going to see in your normal display there. So I want to talk about the Mandalorian helmet, but I feel like I can't talk about the Mandalorian helmet without talking about the Boba Fett helmet. You just kind of have to have both here, as they both cost the same price. They're both obviously modeled off very similar looking helmets, just in, vastly different colors there, but obviously, still Mandalorian helmets at the end of the day. And what LEGO did with the Mando helmet is something I'm not too pleased with at the end of the day. I think it does take away from what could have been a even better combination of helmets. I think that for most casual fans, they don't care, they won't notice, whatever. So using some of these photos as a reference, you'll notice that the Mandalorian and Boba Fett helmet are obviously very similar. However, they are not the same. And more importantly, they are not different in the way that LEGO represents that they are different. What you'll notice on the Boba Fett helmet is that this vertical strip of black, the front part of the visor, whatever, is 2 studs wide. And it's about as wide as the visor on top, whatever, looks fine. But the one on Mando's helmet, while the visor on top is about the same as the Boba one, it's 2 studs wide and then quite a bit to the left and quite a bit to the right. It's almost 4 studs wide, I would say. Maybe 3 is a good, total number there. And so what's wrong with this, you may ask? Why is having Mando's helmet be wider at the front than Boba's helmet a bad thing? Well, quite simply, it's just inaccurate, and it was something they could have easily avoided. At the very least, I would say, if you're LEGO to mitigate this, because maybe it's hard to make it thinner than 2 studs wide, make it the same 2 studs wide. You obviously can't go thinner, maybe, but at least it's not this jarring difference that you end up seeing where it's, wider on Mando when it's clearly just not in the show. And, I'll be honest, usually I do not care about the scale of things between different sets. Obviously the Tantive 4 and the UCS Y-Wing, those aren't in scale together. I don't care that they're not in scale together. It's not a big deal. But here with the helmet sets, it's pretty obvious they're all built in the same, I don't know what you want to call it, helmet size. And I don't know, I just feel like that should be reflected in the size of things on the helmet compared to one another, especially with 2 so similar that people are going to compare like this. And I don't know, just very simply, they got it wrong. Now, something I think a lot of people wanted to see with this helmet that aren't really seeing with this helmet is a whole bunch of drum lacquered silver. That's kind of the term for the silver that LEGO uses now. Unfortunately, they've only used it to kind of accentuate the bumps or ridges in the helmet. So kind of down the middle of the helmet, you have this ridge, and they use the drum lacquered silver to kind of make that pop on this particular version, which is a smart way to use it if you're going to cheap out and only use it for a little bit of the helmet. But it's definitely not ideal, I think, in a lot of people's eyes. Although, to be fair, I don't think they make, all the drum lacquered silver parts in the set are tiled pieces. I don't know if they could use it on the studded pieces like this and that they would still connect right and stuff. There could be an issue with that too. So given the benefit of the doubt, I don't mind it too much, although, I mean, obviously it would be preferable to just have the whole thing be silver, I guess, at the end of the day. But the general shaping of it seems to be down pretty nicely on the top of the dome here. I know we already looked at the visor, but the shape of it is generally nice. It's just a little bit too wide down the middle there. It's real unfortunate. They did a great job contouring the cheeks of this guy. They made it real deep in there, and they added in some darker grays to kind of make it look shadowy to me. I really like and appreciate that. Some more silvery colors here, and of course on the front line of the helmet, it kind of curves out there at the very bottom. Very big fan. And then the side of the helmet, this is kind of cool. It kind of reminds me of like floppy ears, so you'll see that it's actually not straight built onto there. And so if we bring Boba's back over, you'll see his is straight. And that's a big and surprising change to the build here, where you can see that it actually slightly angles outward instead of just being straight down for the side. So you may notice a lot more silver on the side of the helmet there, and you'll get the same thing on the other side of the helmet. And then the very back is, you know, that silver stripe still coming down, and then kind of looks like some ventilation a little bit in the back of the helmet, but not really, just kind of ridges, and then just a lot of light gray back there. So that's really all you've got going on. While it's not the best helmet collection set ever, the Mandalorian helmet is a fine addition to the collection. For $60, it is the run-of-the-mill helmet price, as you may know, and it looks fine. It's just not the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's unfortunate that it does have some design discrepancies compared to Boba Fett as far as the front of that visor goes. It's just too thick on Mando, and if you can look past that, I think you'll love this set, and the lack of silver. I think some people might not be able to look past that. But if you can look past those things, you will like this. But also, like, if you already have Boba, I feel like you're almost required to own Mando, just as, like, the combo of the two has kind of become iconic from the Mandalorian and Boba Fett shows now. Anyway, it's a 7.5 out of 10 for me. If